Hello everybody, welcome back. It's of course another episode of Cape Rugby TV where we keep talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Wow, what a weekend it was. Of course it was the semi-finals at City Park. We're going to be taking a look at that tonight. But before we get going, big thanks of course to our partners on board with us, Score Energy Drinks. Score is of course on board with Western Province Club Rugby and the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. You can of course see the Score Energy Drinks jerseys behind me now. And of course, MCAM 24-hour pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. We'll talk about MCAM a little bit later. And of course, Decro Paints. Decro Paints now on board with Cape Rugby TV. And we'll talk about Decro a little bit later when they give us a couple of their handy tips. And of course, tell us about their amazing stores. In studio with me now, Jerome Parvata. Jerome, nice to have you back, man.
Yeah, JP, it's good to be back after a great weekend of the semi-finals at City Park. So yeah, lots of fun there on Saturday, so it was a good day.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried that the weather was going to, well, we spoke about this last week. I was a bit worried that the weather was going to play against us, but Friday dried up nicely, and Saturday, both fields held up well.
Yeah, it was good. There was a little bit of a drizzle later on in the games, but it wasn't bad, so people were still standing there outside, and it didn't affect anybody. But it was actually turned out a good day, yes.
Yeah, it's good. And I must say, City Park does lean itself now to some pretty easy to watch, entertaining, good parking rugby. It's pretty much, good venue.
Yeah, it's a good venue. I think the what makes it special there is like you can stand sort of on the B side and A side field, so you can watch two games at once. And the people there on the hill watching, they've got a good view. Yeah. So you can basically see in the C field where they used for warm-ups. So it's perfect. So everybody's busy. So yeah, it is actually a great venue.
Yeah. Right, folks, so we're going to take a look at the matches between Kraaifontein and Stel, Macassar and Hamadias, UCT and Helderberg, Marties and Village, and of course SK Warmers against Hands and Hearts. So we've got a full show for you tonight. And just before we get going, we must just give a big thanks to the guys from Supersport Schools for supplying the footage for us. Supersport Schools was, of course, streaming the games on Saturday. So you had an opportunity to look at the games on their Supersport Schools app. Let's go to the first game now. Kraaifontein up against Stel. Right, there we go, folks. Halftime there. Van Stel leading 14 points to 10. Jerome, your thoughts on the game before we go to the second half?
Yeah, good first half. It's basically a proper semi-final, how you play a semi-final. And I think the Kraaifontein, you can see what they were trying to do. They were trying to play more with their forwards, try to use their big backer forwards, but compliments to Van der Stel. They didn't give in, and I mean they held the big backer forwards of Kraaifontein. And the difference between the two, if there's a loose ball, I know the Van der Stel guys with their pace, they scored 2 tries from where Kraaifontein was supposed to score. Loose ball, they pick it up, they went to score. So, but was a good first half. I think it was pretty even and great rugby. I mean, both teams, I think they played perfectly. They were not afraid to run the ball, but in certain areas of the field, you can see they trying to play like a semi-final.
All right, so the question obviously is now, this is a semi-final. The winner here is going to be going through to the finals, which is coming up this weekend. Your advice for the coaches now going into the second half?
Look, I think both coaches know, like it's pretty even. It's 14-10. It can go either way. So it's patience and try to play and try to milk penalties, play for penalties. I would think, like, if I was like really coaching, I would say there's lots of opportunities for drop goals, but I haven't seen a lot of drop goals.
Well, let's take a look now. Here we go, folks. This is, of course, the second half between Kraaifontein and Van der Stel Evergreens. Right, there we go. Jerome, final score then, Van der Stel Evergreens 35-22. It's what you were looking for, but a few more points being scored in the second half.
Yeah, Van der Stel built up immediately after halftime. They scored 2 tries, so they built up a big lead. And then Kraaifontein came back, but it was a little bit too late.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were playing, both teams, like I say, they were playing sort of the rugby that expected in the semi-final. Kraaifontein with their mauls, if they're in the 22, Van der Stel also trying to play in Kraaifontein's 22, and when they're there, they get points. So yeah, but it was from both teams. Kraaifontein just wait a little bit too long there, but I think Alistair Sigela will be happy with the results.
Yeah. So, of course, we're going to take a look at, after the break, folks, we're going to take a look at the match between Macassar and Hamadias. That was another big game because Kraaifontein will now play against the winner of these of our next match. We'll be back after the break.